Well, Newcastle fans, sometimes you don't always get what you deserve, but sometimes you get more than you deserve, and that's what we did today. The Tottenham match will come up, so make sure you stick around. Welcome back to Black White Banter, ladies and gentlemen. It's match day. It is the first test against the so-called top six, against a team that the word six, the number six, has a lot of relevance to. Yes, it's Tottenham Hotspur at St James's Park. And if there is one match in recent years that has brought us a hell of a lot of good memories and celebratory beers after, it is the 10 goals we have scored against today's opposition in the last two matches at St James's Park. They will have the shite up them coming up here. Will that run continue? That's a different story. And look, I'm going to try and make this video, this match vlog, as less about the transfer window as possible. Hopefully I'll be speaking to some fans at the end of it. Hopefully I'll get their thoughts. All I'm going to say, there will be a video from me coming later in the week on it, because we need to talk about it and it needs to be addressed by the club. It wasn't good. It was a failure. We know that. There's going to be a bit of unrest in the camp today, and the fans, everybody's going to be talking about it over pints. Newcastle United should not be in profit in any transfer window under this current regime. And that's the bottom line of it. Yes, we haven't sold any of our good players. They'll all be there for us today. The Isaacs, the Gordons, the Brunos. Wonderful. Great. Without European football, that's a win. But this window has not been good enough. We haven't added to our squad when everybody is. And let's just draw a line under it. There is a point where we have to stop crying over spilt milk, and we have to focus on support for them players on the pitch today, who we know, by the way, can pull out some good things. This same group of players, without the likes of Tonali and whatnot, got us to the Champions League just 2 years ago. And don't forget that. That was without Anthony Gordon. That was without, like I say, no Harvey Barnes, no Livramento. We've added to the squad since we last secured Champions League football, and we have a huge match at St James's today. It's nobody's fault. Eddie Howe, it's not Eddie Howe's fault. It's not the players' fault. So let's just get on with it. Yes, questions need to be asked. Yes, Darren Eales needs to come out and make a statement. But let's focus on the football for this video, if you're new around here, Newcastle fans, drop us a little like, that, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I am sitting somewhere a bit nicer today, which is why, if anyone can notice, I've got this this shirt on. I've pulled this. I've just dusted this one off. I'm in the Platinum Club today, not in the Strawberry Corner, which I will miss a little bit, the singing corner. But I'm going to be just testing to see what those prawn sandwiches are like with the posh folk, with a pint glass at half-time. Imagine that. So without further ado, I am still in the house. Let's get ourselves up to St James's Park for a Sunday lunch kick-off time. We're swapping the Yorkshire puddings for hopefully 3 points. However, Eddie Howe's profit-making mags. Right there, just outside St James's Park, team news has dropped. It's an interesting one, and it's the one that I'm going to be totally honest, I'm a little bit concerned about. The main reason is that Lewis Hall has been dropped. It looks like Lloyd Kelly's going to be playing left back, and I know that's going to come with its criticisms if it doesn't work. That gives us not very much down the left-hand side in terms of attack and threat, and that's what I'm trying to rack my brain on why and what Eddie Howe's logic is. Is Lewis Hall not capable of playing 2 matches in a week? I don't know. That's the one I'm scratching my head at. There's no Tonali, and I'm not surprised there's no Tonali, and he's also gone Gordon Barnes. So I've said that there is no way that Eddie Howe is ever thinking about playing them two in the same team. I could be wrong. So let's see how this one pans out. I'm not going to jump on anyone's back just yet. Before I go to the stadium, let's get into some, without further ado, some black and white banter. Stats. United versus Tottenham is the most played fixture in the Premier League that has never finished 0-0. So if there's any betting people out there, Black and White Banter does not promote gambling in any way, shape or form in sports, then you might want to put on at least a goal from one of the teams. Mental. There's been 158 goals scored in this fixture, including 11 in the last 2 matches at St James's. It's not a bad bet to take. Newcastle United are actually unbeaten in their last 9 home games. Only Manchester City are unbeaten in a longer spell, and that's a bit ridiculous. That's like 31 matches. But it was Man City who was the last team to win here when they won 3-2 back in January. Long may that continue today. And I'm sorry if I'm the jinx. Newcastle United versus Tottenham is the most played fixture in the Premier League that has never finished 0-0. So if there's any betting people out there, Black and White Banter does not promote gambling in any way, shape or form in sports, then you might want to put on at least a goal from one of the teams. Mental. There's been 158 goals scored in this fixture, including 11 in the last 2 matches at St James's. It's not a bad bet. And finally, before I go and get my prawn sandwiches in the posh club and get a pint before the match, it's time to play a little bit of
theirs or ours?
The challenge, and what this is a game where I'm going to be doing for every single home match. I have to swap one Newcastle player for one Tottenham player, and I have to do it. And it was tricky. I thought about James Maddison, I thought about Son, but he's getting on a little bit. It was really, really difficult. Mickey van der Ven is centre-back, although he's had to put him on his arse. I am going to go Vicario for Pope, and I love Nick Pope, but I just think Vicario is a better all-round goalkeeper. So that's mine. Let me know yours in the comments. Right, it's time for a beer. Wheelie! Newcastle United. Get in, Mr. Regan. Right, just outside the stadium, just bunching a little bit close, a little bit cosy. There we go. There, that's better. Just outside the stadium, joined by two faces that anyone who's actually subscribes to Black and White Banter might recognise, because these, well, certainly the gentleman on my right-hand side, Mr. Coldog. Yeah.
Gentlemen.
You.
That's
yeah.
the first time you've ever been nice to me.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever been nice to him. I must be feeling in a good mood after that win. And Lee, who is very often now on the old live streams. Yes, Black and White Banter does go live. Right, got the 3 points. Lots of questions to be asked there. First and foremost, which is always my first question, I'll start with you, Lee. How do you sum that one up?
Oh, it's a weird one. I mean, we were pretty dreadful for significant portions of that match. We could barely get hold of the ball. And yet we've managed to win the game 2-1. So it is a funny one. It's like every game this season we've played pretty poor, but we're unbeaten going into the international break, so I guess you take it.
You take it with a 2-week break. And yourself, Coldog?
Do you know what? The first 15 minutes I thought we were outstanding. You could see the attacking force we got on with it. Then we suddenly let them into the game.
After the referee's break.
We
disrupted.
It did absolutely. Yeah. And for that point on, they really did come at us, and they were on our heels so often, a bit like what it was down in Notts Forest. They're very much at our heels on a time, and we let them at that attacking format. But overall, I think we just edged this today. Not going to be a great
that's a big statement, because I would probably argue with the complete opposite to that one, to be honest.
You're going to argue with that because they didn't put the ball in the back of the net. The chances they had, the times the balls come across the front of the goal, and they should have been. If they'd had Harry Kane, he would have scored a hat trick today for them. There's no two ways about it. They've had a really good striker. They would have demolished us, but they didn't. We took our chances. In fact, we scored all 3 goals. We had to help them with one of the goals. I think defensively we played quite well. Not many people are going to agree with me. I think Dan Burn was man of the match for me because of the towering strength. And yes, he made a couple of mistakes. He scored the own goal, but he didn't have much of a choice for that. And he did put that stupid ball and made a mistake in defence. But other than that, I thought he put in some spectacular tackling today. I really did.
But in terms of what we haven't seen enough of, maybe in terms of what we know, what we a bit worried about, what would you be looking to change in this 2-week period now?
I think it's just getting that energy and the high press back into the game. It doesn't have to be the full 100-mile-an-hour approach, because we've seen that can lead to a lot of injuries. But just we saw at the end of the game there when they started pressing right towards the end, not letting them play out. The crowd gets into it, and it's like a symbiotic relationship. Yeah. And it just makes it so much easier when they can't get out. They're having to work hard just to get out.
Tottenham look fitter than us.
Yeah,
I thought.
I think
they did.
Yeah,
they did.
Point. I mean, there were a lot of, towards the end, a few of our players looked very leggy. Yeah. Especially Isak did look leggy.
I wasn't as worried as what most of the people were, because we had a world-class player who came back into the fold, who we didn't have last season. To me, that was like a new signing in itself. Are we going to be disappointed, frustrated, and
You've got to be profit under this ownership.
I think overall, though, that do we work on? Is the transfer window saying we haven't got players that's good enough? Is the transfer window saying we're just trying to strengthen what we've got? And it's a bit of both, isn't it? You strengthen the midfield by having, and I keep saying Tonali come back. Kelly, I think he's going to get better. The kid that come from Bournemouth, isn't it? Yeah, he's going to get better.
I thought you played okay today. I thought you looked good.
I'd love to see that, and forgive me, is it Sanusi? I can't wait to see him play. I really can't, and he could be a great asset for us in the next few months.
So are you going glass half full?
I'm not worried. I'm not not frustrated like you lot were, because I've looked at this a totally different way. The player we missed, not a player, but a specific type of player we missed was bringing in somebody to support Isak. Because a bit like having an Andy Cole and a Beardsley, a bit like having a Bellamy and a Shearer, there's nobody to bounce off him. And I think we've sort of missed that, having that role with somebody.
Well, last question then on this, because my God, I've been speaking to you for 11 minutes now, which is pretty crazy. I definitely have to edit this down. No offence to you both. This will be a lot. This will be a long old match long if I keep all this in. Last question then, because of the transfer window, I think it's a fair question. Do expectations change? Because I don't think either of you would say that you didn't go into this window expecting us to sign a couple of players of decent quality. We haven't. So do expectations change? Yes or no?
My expectations is us to get to a cup final and win it this season. That's my expectation.
Sticking with that?
Sticking with it, and I won't leave that.
Right. What about yourself, Lee?
I guess it's sort of similar to last season, isn't it? Sort of pushing for those European places.
Top six, top seven.
Champions League will be a stretch too far, I think, although you never know. But I think that sort of 6th place might be that sort of the target, and as I say, a progress in at least one of the cups.
Right, okay. Happy days. Thank you very much for speaking to me both, gentlemen. You can catch both of these lovely faces on one of my live streams. Yes, Black and White Banter does those live streams now. So what should they do? They should tune in. Well, I'm not going to say what nights, but live streams, would you tune in?
Right, because I'm on it.
I absolutely would.
Right then, we've got the points, we've got the win. Look, as I said at the start of this video, sometimes you don't get what you deserve, and sometimes you get more than you deserve. And being totally honest, after 2 back-to-back wins against this lot at home where we've absolutely destroyed them, we got more than we deserved today. That wasn't Newcastle at home. I'm a little bit concerned about things, we'll talk about that in a second. But look, Newcastle United are going into the international break with 2 wins, 1 draw, and we are in the next round of the Cup. If you'd have given me that at the start of the season, I would have snapped your hand off. And Eddie Howe's Newcastle United have not started the season as strong as this since he's been in this job. So, all positives to take there. Look, how did this game go? Well, I think Tottenham were much more fit, and that's a worry. First half started well. First 10-15 minutes we looked up for it. We wanted the ball. We wanted to get at them from wide areas. And then the referee goes off injured. Long little time he was off. And we slowed down a little bit. It's almost that break ruined our momentum, and Tottenham grew into the game. And Tottenham have not started the season badly either. We went in this level pegging. They'd won 1, they drew 1, but they just looked livelier. They looked sharper. They looked more on it. And going in at half time, look, Harvey Barnes, Eddie Howe's still finding a role for Harvey Barnes in this team. He played Gordon on the right today. Harvey Barnes, great finish. We know that's what he's capable of. We know that's why Eddie Howe signed him, because he is sharp in front of goal. Lovely finish. But at the time we scored, we were under the cosh. And we get through to half time, and I'm happy it's 1-0. And then the second half, it was just an onslaught from Tottenham. And yes, did we weather the storm quite well? 100%. I thought we did. I thought we put a shift in that regard. So far this season, what I've learned about this Newcastle team is we are putting defensive shifts in, and that's amazing to see. But that goal was always coming, and it came in the most unfortunate fashion. Dan Burn just has to kick it left with his stronger foot, just has to kick it right. He decides to go up, and with his long legs he boots it into the back of the net. And he knew. I've seen the look on his face in the aftermath of the goal. He knew that was a mistake from him. He just had to go left or right, and he didn't, and it's 1-1, and Tottenham fully deserved that. And then the game kind of twos and froze, and we managed to get the goal. It's a lovely pass from Joe Linton. It's a great cross, great decision from Jacob Murphy as he just come on the pitch, and we win the match and we hold on. And you'll take that all day, because Newcastle United, what I will say, and I'm not going to jump the gun too much, we are still finding the pace. Players, for me, still don't look match sharp. Eddie Howe's Newcastle don't always start the season strong, but Eddie Howe's Newcastle will get fitter, we will get sharper, and I think from every match in this early part of the season we will learn. And Eddie Howe now has 2 weeks to get these players in and work on things. Now, who do I think individually should be worked on in this little break that we have? Well, Anthony Gordon is my first conversation starter, but he's off on international duty. Hopefully he can get Malik Carsley, who has so much faith in him after watching him win the player of the tournament a year ago for his England side, his England under-20 side. Hopefully he can find his form, because at the moment he was moved over to the right hand side to accommodate Barnes. That's great, he's played there for Everton, we know he has. Barnes, not so much, he probably needs to be on the left, but he's just not offering that drive, that willingness to take a player on, that desire for the football, and it's affecting us. It is. Alexander Isak is being affected at the moment, which I keep saying, by his lack of service. His service comes from players like Anthony Gordon getting to the byline, taking a man on and getting the ball into the box and making things happen. And the same can be said for Bruno. I'm sorry, Bruno's taken the captain's armband, he's come back from the Copa America, but he is still not looking the sort of sharpness in terms of an attack and creativity point of view that we need. And I'm not worried. These are all factors where I think these players will get better, and I want to reiterate that. And that's why today is one of them. We've got over the line. Am I really worried about it? No. Do I think there's areas to work on? Yes. I think from full-back areas, Eddie Howe decided to go with Lloyd Kelly today instead of Hall. That left us a little bit short going forward, but I thought Lloyd Kelly put in a solid shift. Emil Kraft, we should keep talking about him. He is a sort of player that every Newcastle team needs. Every team in the Premier League needs someone who's never going to start realistically when there's other players fighting for that position, but he's going to come in and do a very, very solid job, and he has, and I can't complain about him at all. Livramento I thought was much better today than what he was against Bournemouth. Much, much better. Kieran Trippier didn't need to come on. Set pieces, I think Eddie Howe needs to work on those. Anthony Gordon's been given them. Tonali's coming back in the side. Maybe he should be the guy moving forward. But generally speaking, set pieces have been really, really poor, and Anthony Gordon doesn't seem the man. Let's talk about Tonali coming in. Amazing to see. War flags, you've outdone yourselves. That must have been heartwarming for the guy after the reception he got in Nottingham Forest on Wednesday. He's going to come good. Eddie Howe played him a little bit higher, which was strange to see. He never got on the ball as much as I would like. But again, all of these factors I'm talking about is so much more to come from this team, so much more to come from this side in terms of attack and threat, in terms of fitness, in terms of physicality. We are better than this. We are more solid than this. We know we are, and we've managed to beat Tottenham. We are not playing at our best or our fittest, and we have beat Southampton, beat Tottenham, drawn at Bournemouth and won in the Cup. If that doesn't give somebody somewhere a little bit reason to be optimistic, then I don't know what will. Are there concerns there? Yes. Has Eddie Howe figured out who's playing on each wing? I don't think he has. Has Eddie Howe figured out what midfield might work best? I don't think he has. But players are still to come back. Alexander Isak still needs to get a bit sharper. We are still to find those optimal levels, and that's why I'm going to finish this one quite optimistic. It's been an awful week. Awful 3 days, should I say. Sorry, not a week after that win at Forest, supporting Newcastle, because that transfer window was a failure. But we've got what we've got. We've got more money to spend in the next couple of windows, and this group of players are capable of reaching good things, like beating a Tottenham team who knocked on the door for large spells but couldn't get over the line. There'll be more videos to come on this one, Newcastle fans. I've got no doubts about it, including the transfer window farce. Farce sounds harsh, but it was. If you've liked this match vlog, do us a little favour. What that like, what that subscribe, and what that for. I tell you what though, the Platinum Club, I'm just going to warn anyone now thinking about it. You get looked at funny for standing up, you get looked at funny for chanting. Yes, it's nice to have a pint of Guinness at half time, but give me the strawberry corner seat anyway. 2 weeks of international break, 2 weeks to talk about lots of things Newcastle United related, but it's also a chance for us to just take a breath and move on. Keep the faith, Newcastle fans, always, and thank you very much for watching. How are you, lads?